Lie number 30, legalism refers only to the belief that a person can become a Christian by his works. Sometimes those who reject the teaching of legalism in the Christian life try to shift the focus onto unbelievers and say, well, the only meaning of legalism is that it has to do with salvation by works. Now, let me say plainly that legalism does teach and can focus on salvation through works. That is a form of legalism. But the implication is that legalism then is not a problem or cannot be a problem for a Christian or in the church. And that is totally untrue. For instance, the Apostle Paul wrote to the church at Galatia, and he wrote to them the whole problem in Galatia was about legalism. Legalism is a system of living in which we try to make spiritual progress or gain God's blessings based on what we do. And that can be true if you're an unbeliever trying to gain salvation through what you do, or if you're a believer trying to make spiritual progress in your own walk by what you do. And Paul wrote to the church at Galatia, and here's what he said, Galatians 3. You foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you before whose eyes Jesus Christ was publicly portrayed as crucified? The only thing I want to find out is this. Did you receive the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing with faith? Are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are you now being perfected in the flesh? Now he's talking there about legalism. And he's saying you started by faith and that's the way you are to live the life. So how could you be so foolish as to think that now that you're a Christian, suddenly it's not just about what he does and only what he does, but now it's about what you do. It's not just about grace, but it's about works. No, he goes on and says down in verse 10, as many as are of the works of the law are under a curse. Let me tell you, legalism is the curse that teaches you that there's something you can do to make progress in your walk with God through your behavior. And so the teaching then that legalism is the belief that a person can become a Christian by his works, that's a lie, because it only tells part of the story. Legalism means trying to make progress in our spiritual walk either before we know the Lord or even after we know the Lord. And when we understand the true definition and nature of legalism, we then are able to see it for what it is. We're able to stand up against it and walk in grace. That is a truth that will set you free in your own grace walk.